Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're on part 2 where I am joined by Damien Talks Money, and in part 2 we're going to be talking about do this before you start a YouTube channel, where we're going to dive into a little bit more detail about what you need to know and looking at some of the inner workings of YouTube and actually how it works. I can't remember, there's a particular channel, but there's a lady who I do sort of follow, and all she does is talk about Vanguard, and her videos are really sort of high in the range of her views.
Yeah.
She's not got a huge subscription, but the views, and I've sort of questioned, she's really niching, but how much can you talk about one subject? So much.
I do think you back yourself into a corner like that, and I personally wouldn't like to do that. I think the tendency is to kind of follow the views, and then you just end up being a Vanguard channel, and then if you move away from that, like, no one wants to watch it.
Yeah.
So I think I personally would accept slower growth at the start to have a broader base of topics that I can talk about, rather than, again, the example of SafeMoon, that cryptocurrency source channels blow up, but like those channels were pumping out the content around that, then they tried to move away from it and no one's interested. And then what the problem is, you've got this subscriber base that's unengaged with your content. Every time you release a piece of content, YouTube goes, how does it do with subscribers? Rubbish. Okay, it could be the best piece of content ever, but it's never going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's an A/B test system, YouTube. It brings the content up versus another piece, which gets the most clicks. You know, so
yeah.
I would almost slow and steady with an engaged audience over trying to chase viral content or following down the view rabbit hole. I have to be really careful about that with Vanguard content.
Yeah.
Because I could just pump that out and get those views every time if I wanted to.
That's my that's kind of my view is slow and steady, because for me, I've sort of spoken with other YouTubers who've done very well, and they're like, you know, you need to niche. But I suppose for me personally, wanting to grow, I want to keep it a bit broad. Interviews, talking about stock market, talk about general alternative investments, finance. But I have found the effect of that is slow growth, because I've not really chosen a topic.
Yeah.
So but I do kind of want to follow what you've just said, is start broad.
Make the content you want to make.
Yeah.
I would say define your audience is more important than, it's a niche can be, I'm a cooking channel, I'm a this, I'm a that.
Yeah.
You don't need to be, I'm a cooking channel that only fries things. Like, you can do that, like, if you want, but I would say more so, you know, define your audience, because for me, 25 to 35, any references I make and jokes with my content are aimed at that demographic, and I get bleed over. 50% of my audience is out of that range, but if I cater for those guys and those guys alone, I know that I can be broad in my content, but they know that it's going to appeal to them.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't want to go down the just Vanguard route, because like you say, you're just boxing yourself into a corner.
Yeah, agreed. And do you, for, again, those that are starting, I know there are options out there to sort of download like premium versions of like vidIQ. So I started using vidIQ, and I suppose in hindsight I should have utilised it a little bit more and actually stopped the pro version.
Yeah.
Would you say to someone starting that it's worth diving into like analysis paralysis, or just get boots on the ground, just start it and get it in motion? What?
I did. So I use vidIQ and TubeBuddy.
Yeah.
I find they throw up completely different results.
Right.
Because they're just scraping data and interpreting it. I find that if you get a high score on both, you're probably in a good place. My Investing for Beginners UK 2020 keyword was 100 on both.
Oh wow.
So I knew that like had potential. I started there, built my initial audience. Now I don't use those tools at all. I just make content that's clickable. So my titles have gone from Investing for Beginners UK 2020 using a Vanguard account to, oh my God, this just happened, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
So this is something I want to ask you about, because my previous guest, Matt Brighton, also mentioned this, is that titles now are changing where they are essentially like clickbait, because you're leaving the audience guessing what it's about.
Yeah.
So how important is the thumbnail where you've got those keywords of I've just done this, or I just quit my job, but obviously having a description in the title? Is that really important? Should you leave an audience hanging? Or how's the thumbnail?
If you put I just quit my job, no one cares if you've not got an audience. Like if you've got 1 million people who put I quit my job, then people might be like, okay, I want to know.
Why? Yeah.
I think initially to build an audience, so again, segment, search and suggested.
Yeah.
Search, you're scrolling through search, if you're searching like, you know, how to set up a camera, and someone's put like, I can't believe this just happened, you're like, I'm not clicking on that. But the guy who's got how to set up a camera, you'd be like, right. Whereas on suggested, you're looking for more entertainment-driven content potentially,
Yeah.
you're more likely to click on something that is a bit more clickbaity. So I would, if you're targeting search, so you're going after people that are searching for a topic, make sure that that is clearly identified within the title.
Right.
I think all creators should start with search-related content,
Yeah.
and as they build an audience, they then move more into the suggested, because 80% of all views on YouTube are done off the homepage.
Right.
So the goal is to get to that, but initially focus on search.
And with that, with like how the search engine works, does it tie in from your thumbnail to the title to the keyword? Because this is what I've heard, and if you can put an answer to it, is that your title, sort of like the first 3-4 words, if that matches up nicely with the first 3-4 words of your keyword and in the description, is that a thing or is that not?
The most important keywords are the ones you say in the video. I don't think people talk about that enough.
Right.
Like, so tags mean nothing. They're good for spelling errors. So if you've got a word like Vanguard that people commonly misspell, within the keywords, put like the U, the G, and the U and the A, and all that different combinations. But YouTube will look at your title, the first 140 characters within your description, and then the words you say. So I've ranked for I said Jeff Bezos once in a video, and I ranked for Jeff Bezos on search, which tells me that YouTube is scraping my video. We know they do that anyway because they have the closed caption, the subtitles.
Yeah.
So they know what you're saying. And from a YouTube perspective, in the past, you could put any keywords in and you would rank. You could have been some far-right activist saying fluffy bunny content, and then you click on it and it's like some horrible, hateful thing.
Yeah.
When in reality, so YouTube had to address that, so they then moved to scraping what you say. From a YouTube perspective, the words that you say in the video are a much better indication of what the topic is about than what you've put in your description.
Right.
So within the first 30 seconds of a video, if it's a Vanguard UK video, I'm like, hi, today we're going to talk about Vanguard UK. Vanguard UK is the biggest platform. Like, I'll say it a few times, get those keywords in straight away in the 30 seconds.
That's interesting. And then obviously that ties into your description. You would put very much a similar thing.
It's a triangle. You've got your keywords in the description, in the title, and you're saying them in the video. And then YouTube's like, okay, well, this video is probably about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if
it's clever, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to say them in the video.
And off the back of that, this is another question that I know people really want to know. It's something that I ask all YouTubers that I speak to. Timing. Like, is timing important now, or as soon as you've done a video, just get it out there?
In terms of what time of day you upload?
Publish, yeah. Do you try and capture UK and US market, or do you just go, I've got a video, get it out, views?
I think as a UK creator in the finance niche, you won't crack into America for a little while because there's established guys there that do very well. So YouTube has its people that are doing the US very well. I think you get to a point where after a certain amount of time, it might trial you, but it's like Tesco's, isn't it? Why take Heinz off the shelf? You sell bucket loads of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, from a UK perspective, I try and post at times that I do think are usable, but you'd be surprised. You could drop a video at midday and people will watch it. You could.
That's what I've found.
I wouldn't drop it past 8 PM. Do you know what I mean, or whatever? But you can see on the data where the most watched. Mondays, surprisingly for me, Monday is like my biggest day. Which I think people get in from work after a Monday and are like, oh God, I want to not work anymore.
And just sit there and...
Yeah.
I like that take on that, actually. I want to invest.
Yeah, when it's like a Friday night, don't post. I'm not posting on a Friday night because I'll never get any views.
I need to change up, I think. That's really interesting. Well, that was incredible, part two. There was so much knowledge. I hope you all took a lot from it, because I know I certainly did. And actually, the Monday posting I really like, actually. Investing, want to get out of the full-time job. Join us in part three, where we're going to be talking about all the investment apps. So that's Hargreaves and Lansdowne, Vanguard obviously is a current one at the moment, eToro, Trading 212, Moneybox and so forth. So join us in part three.